I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in God-incidences. Now, I've used that phrase, God-instances, for many years. Today, I want to honor two friends of mine. These two friends were from completely different circles in my life. They didn't know each other. They had zero interaction with each other. And yet, through this disparate friendships, they created a God incident in my life. And by the way, some people call God incidents God winks. I'm good with either of those terms. God incidents, God winks. It doesn't matter. I just use God incidents more because it rhymes with coincidence. Now, the first of my friends is Tom Vanderwell. Now, this guy, he's a real solid rock. He's been reading a chapter a day in the Bible each weekday and doing a blog or podcast on that chapter. Now, he's been doing this for a while because his site goes back to March of 2006. That's almost 20 years. And it looks like he might have been even doing it before that. But anyway, back on Friday, March 28th, 2025, Tom published a comment on Matthew chapter 2. Tom's message on Friday was about all the connections that jumped out at him in the chapter. Just to give you a sample of the message, I'm going to read a paragraph. So Tom writes, quote, "Along my spiritual journey, I've come to believe that everything is connected." And those italics are his. Everything is connected. Christian mystics have pushed into this concept for centuries, and I've come to embrace it the more I seek the things of God on this chapter-a-day journey and find it to be true. God wove it into the very fabric of the universe. Even science has stumbled onto it and call it quantum entanglement. Though I prefer Einstein's description, he theorized it and he called it spooky action at a distance. End quote. Now, this got my attention because, you see, on the Clifton Strengths Assessment, connectedness is my number 3 strength. That means it's right up there. It's on all the time. Things just work, okay? I see connectedness everywhere. So anytime things like this come across my mind, I get a little hit of dopamine. It's that feel-good chemical in the brain, and I pay attention. And so then in Tom's next to last paragraph, he writes, quote, "Finally, the events today surrounding Jesus' birth," which was Matthew chapter 2, "are connected," and connected is italics again, "connected to his death. These authorities and powers of this world, for example, the Herods, the temple religious establishment, and Rome, these authorities are one and the same as the unholy Trinity who will send the baby Jesus to the cross and about 33 years later on Good Friday. They are direct ancestors of the kingdoms and empires of this world, God, commerce, and religion, that continue to hold sway today under the dominion of the prince of this world, even as I daily attempt to bring love and light of the kingdom of God to earth through my words and actions in my circles of influence." End quote. That's the end of Tom's quote on that. Now, as it turned out, this whole post, I get an email, and I generally just read the emails. But as it turned out, I meditated on this entire message off and on all that weekend. Remember, it came out on a Friday. All weekend, this kept coming back to mind, Kind of like that song that they call an earworm, that you get the song stuck in your head. Well, this blog message was stuck in mine. And my brain would just not let it go. And then on Monday, I received an email that took this to the next level. Now, this email was from my second friend, Alden Biggs. And Alden does a weekday Words of Wisdom for Your Day email. And it's only via email. He does have a Facebook page, but he doesn't post the Words of Wisdom every day. So if you need to get it, you'll have to sign up for his email list. But anyway, Monday, March 31st, so from Friday to Monday, Alden wrote this little quote. It's always a little quote or a little snippet or whatever, but this little quote came out on Monday, March 31st. "I've become convinced there are no coincidences. What we look back on as coincidences are actually little miracles from God, for which we often pay too little attention and forget to offer our thanks." Do you see the connection? That's a God incident or God wink if I've ever seen one. So over the next week, I saw more and more connections between these two messages. And finally, I had to send Tom's message to Alden and Alden's message to Tom just to introduce them to each other. And even then, this God instant just kept coming back to my attention. It was just one of those things. It just kept coming back. And finally, I realized that the meta connection in all this is that Good Friday and Easter will be here soon. What better way to help people get in the spirit of Good Friday and Easter than to give them a great example of a God wink and encourage all of you to be on the lookout for the God instances in your life. And if you have any recent ones, you're welcome to put them in the comments on this post. I'd love that. I will link to Tom's message on his website in the comments, as well as to Alden's email, in case you want to connect with them. And I'm going to close today with a passage from the Living Bible. This is one of my favorite passages. It's actually from Numbers 6:24 through 26, but I had not seen it in the Living Bible, and so I'm really liking this translation. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face radiate with joy because of you. May he be gracious to you, show you his favor, and give you his peace. Thank you.